So let me put this camera back up and I will get us going. Everyone ready?
Yep.
I sound good?
Yeah, you sound great.
Good.
Apart from the obvious that it's you, but yeah.
What was that?
Nothing, I'm just taking a piss.
Oh, okay. Well, it really helps if you're gonna make jokes for the person to be able to hear it and understand it. But
nah, as long as I'm amused, that's all that matters.
You know
really.
what? I've actually had that thought before, and I was told I was wrong. But now that a Scotsman said it, I think I believe
Today's episode of the Cantina is brought to you by Grow Generation. Whether you're at the Death Star or the Senate, they have everything you need to grow right where you are.
We really need more of
from
these.
them later in
We need
the
more
episode.
What?
Welcome
more
to a
different
galaxy
ones?
far away. Here at the Cantina Podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman and remember, no droids allowed.
Look at that ventriloquism I was doing there for a second. Yeah, no, man, we should sing characters, Emperor Palpatine and the Emperor little green guy.
Green.
And just some new a new fun intro. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cantina. And I'll tell you what, today is the one time where you might actually see some rage, some YouTube rage from LRM's genreverse. Unlike usually how we are all very, very calm, collective, and in no way angry at any studio for anything ever. But no, we have got a lot of Star Wars stuff to discuss today, and I am joined, as always, by my co-pilot, Cam Clark. What's up, Cam?
Hey, nothing much.
And the
All good?
guy, I guess you could kind of call him our gunner, or maybe the navigator. Maybe
I'll take the gunner. I like the gunner.
like the gunner?
I we should just call him Chewie. Get out of here, Chewie!
Shocky, what's up, bud?
Not too much. Just been working on my Captain Rex cosplay costume. Got the legs pretty much built out,
Nice.
arms and stuff. That's been my summer project now. So just been doing that, and then enjoying some. I don't know. Have you guys ever tried Screwball whiskey? It's peanut butter whiskey.
No.
Good. I'm not gonna lie.
Peanut butter.
It tastes exactly like peanut butter. So if you're a fan of peanut butter, it's
I have had God, what is it called? Mexican drink, Mexican spirit. Make it with
Tequila?
agave.
Tequila?
Tequila. Thank you. I had an almond flavored
Ooh.
tequila. I believe it was localized in Sonora. I bought it in Algodones, which is right across the Arizona and California border. California border. Not too far from Arizona. Anyways, dude, it was like drinking candy. Like first off, I went to a sports bar and a couple of what I assume were Marines walked in and ordered freaking not Jose Cuervo, the one that Americans think is good, the Patron. Right,
yeah.
right. They're in Mexico ordering Patron. Look, you could order worse, but there's definitely better, and there's local things. And I discovered this almond tequila, and oh my god, dude, it was worse than a soju experience. If anyone's ever had one of those, you could just drink it all day. Peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's called Screwball.
Okay.
It's a new company out and stuff, but it tastes exactly like peanut butter. It's smooth, doesn't have a real bad aftertaste to it. And if you could drink it straight, if you're a fan of peanut butter, that's the way to go.
Okay.
Have you ever been to a vodka bar?
A vodka bar?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
where you go to a bar and they just have every flavour of vodka
Oh,
imaginable.
yes,
and
yeah.
most of them you can just drink straight as well.
Yeah.
But I have tried things like chili flavoured vodka and stuff like that.
Oh
before.
yeah, I bartended
and
a while
yeah,
back,
that's
and that was
horrible.
Oh yeah.
I get vodka and I get tequila. Whiskey is one of those things that I've not met a flavored whiskey that I like.
No, because most whiskey enthusiasts would say that you just ruined it by adding a flavour to it.
Right,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
got its
Well, I
flavour
will
itself. So it's unusual.
Yeah.
That's all.
I will say that this and before we'll get to the Star Wars, that is the Cantina, and we're talking
drinks, man. Yeah.
The Tennessee honey
Excellent.
from Jack Daniels,
Yeah,
is amazing to cook with.
yes.
Make marinades out the ass, but it's way too sweet for me to drink. It's like
I usually use Jack Daniels to cook with as well for my like when we barbecue or or smoke. Jack Daniels is the way to go.
Chips, yeah, buddy. I give them a little extra soaking and some Gentleman Jack. Oh. Anyways, the hashtag show. You guys remember them? It's been a while since we've even discussed them, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've covered some Marvel stuff that we cover.
Yeah.
They've had some Marvel scripts recently. I think one of the most recent ones they did was they said they think they know who the villain is, the Captain America 4, and that would be Sin.
Which is interesting, and we know them from their past that they've got a fairly had at one point a decent track record. I mean, in the game, it's always hit or miss. It's just what is your batting average. I mean, if you're hitting 223, that's pretty good, and most people don't understand that's almost 1 out of 4 pitches you're hitting. That's pretty decent. But I don't know what their actual hit record is. But Cam, you got to write about something that kind of was brought up by them, and it deals with an Inquisitor's show. Something that I know the Inquisitors a bit from Rebels. I know them a bit from the games that they've appeared in, or game, right?
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. I couldn't remember if I saw one in Battlefront or not. Maybe as a hero. I don't know. But regardless, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, man? Go bring us through exactly what the rumor was and what's
the
really
rumor
going
was
on.
that Dave Filoni was kind of set on that they were going to do a Star Wars Inquisitors show. Now, live action is what they said. It was going to be on Disney Plus, and they even had said on it that Hayden Christensen would play Vader within the show as well. So, cut a long story short, as soon as it said it, as soon as I saw it, I didn't have a reaction to it at that point, but I was just about to contact Mike, and just for people who know, Mike is our contact with our sources, so you and I don't speak to them, all goes through Mike to keep kind of anonymity and everything like that. That's how we do these things. So so I was just about to kind of contact Mike to get him to just check if they'd heard anything, and Mike had already literally just sent a message. Just as honestly, I was just about to kind of type that in, and I looked and it just popped up in front of me. And Mike, you can kind of fill us in on what your source had said about it. It's in the article. Obviously, clearly we're debunking it here and we're saying that that's not the case. But Mike, what exactly were you told?
It's just basically that there's no Inquisitor show in development or anything like that. That they're basically being used in Disney Plus series that like pretty sure we're gonna get one in Kenobi. We've seen it in Star Wars Rebels, and there's a good chance we'll get in Jedi Fallen Order 2. We probably see more there of the Inquisitors, but an exclusive Inquisitor show, it's not, from my source, could be wrong, but is not in development. Okay. And so, I mean, I'll eat crow if I'm wrong, like 100% on that. Not saying that the hashtag show is, they're absolutely wrong or, whatever, but from our source, not in development there. The article itself, it was kind of, there was a couple things that made me second guess it, already without even talking to our source. The first thing they say is that, Dave Filoni's making a big push for them on future projects. Filoni's basically in creative control. Okay. Like if he wants a new show and everything, he's basically got the green light for that. So for him for that article,
there's also no time for it at the moment as well, because of everything else they've got on the plate. So if they were going to do something like that, it would be pretty far out. And to me, once we've dealt with those characters, and like you said, possibly Kenobi, possibly the games, I don't think we need to go back again. And it doesn't. It never felt right to me. I didn't feel that there was any need to kind of tell that story, if you like.
Yeah,
because
and that's
it's told
exactly
so much in Rebels as well. I mean, Rebels itself features
and
a
Jedi
lot
Fallen
of the
Order
Inquisitors in the game. Yeah. And then we think that there's going to be Inquisitors in Kenobi as well. So someone for Kenobi to fight. Let's be honest.
I could only see one place for a new Inquisitor story, and I actually support this 100%, and that would be a Star Wars Visions segment.
Maybe
an anime fight done shonen style, Dragon Ball Z with lightsabers and Inquisitors, and that would be cool. But other than that,
something like a one-off kind of. It's just like them on a hunt after someone. That can work, but I just don't think you can carry a full show on that. But either way, I didn't really, it wasn't that I thought this is completely wrong, because sometimes we do hear things that you think, but they come from good sources. With that hashtag show at the moment, we haven't had time to see how their hit rate does pan out for all the Marvel stuff. So that's probably a little bit harsh about going saying that we wouldn't probably cover their stories again. But I think at the moment we probably wouldn't cover their Star Wars stories again, because we have to trust our own source, and if our source is saying that that's a bogus story, I have to assume that they're getting the wrong information from somewhere.
The second big thing about their story is the involvement of Hayden Christensen. And saying that, because the positive experience on the set of Obi-Wan, that it's look return as Darth Vader. So 100% from our source who, has direct ties to the Kenobi series, they've, keep saying how amazing it is to see Hayden Christensen back. And a big reason to have Hayden Christensen back was not necessarily for him to be in the Vader suit, but to kind of get those moments where you see Hayden Christensen, because let's think about Rogue One. All right. The movie Rogue One that included Vader, and it did not have Hayden Christensen in. We don't need Hayden Christensen to be in Darth Vader.
All they needed for Hayden Christensen for that was just a day to come in, get put up in makeup for that one scene,
and it wasn't even that
again. And it would have been cool, but they didn't do it, and we just saw him from the back.
And it wouldn't it wouldn't even matter. Like if he was in the Darth Vader suit, like that to me doesn't. Oh my gosh!
No.
He's talking in the back of the tank.
No, I mean the tank. I'm sorry.
Tank, because I think it would have been cool to see his face underneath. And a lot of fans said that, but we didn't need it for that one tiny moment, and the rest of it is just not required at all. It's the same as saying that Pedro Pascal has to be there every day to film The Mandalorian. No, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It's a lot of it is just voice work.
The Hayden Christensen thing was a little off. Like when I read that article, it didn't make sense because what I've heard is basically, the big reason why Hayden Christensen is coming back was because of working with Ewan McGregor and Kenobi, not to do something else. That basically.
Right. Where he just be in the suit all the time.
Right, exactly. He's Anakin Skywalker. Hayden Christensen is Anakin Skywalker. I mean, he's not Darth Vader.
Right.
And so to bring him back, you got to get that Anakin piece to it. So it doesn't make sense why have an Inquisitor show with Darth Vader, but you're saying, oh, well, Hayden Christensen is going to be Darth Vader. So it's not, I mean, like I said, it could be possibilities. For example, it could be an animated show, but the problem with that even is unless it's in Star Wars Vision, is that remember that Disney, they're very in control of what they put out there, and you notice that Disney doesn't like to put a lot of shows or movies from the evil, from the bad guy perspective. Right. That's not what they're in the business for. It's always from the good guy perspective. That's their MO.
Although saying that might be why we're all kind of a little bit excited about the Acolyte though, because that's where we think that's going, so.
Yeah. In Book of Boba Fett, it's Boba Fett is kind of like the bad guy you could use, and kind of go from there. So, so when I saw that story on #show, because it popped up on my Twitter feed, I immediately went and asked our source about it, and it was a quick shutdown. And And the only other reason why I'm so confident is just because there's been other kind of rumors that no one else has really gone with it, but random rumors have been popping up. And, for me is, and I'll share it with you guys, is that there's supposedly, and these are from unconfirmed sources, people that are just kind of contacting me out of the blue, that an adult Omega will be in the Mandoverse, and it will kind of be the link to the cloning experiment. I don't buy it. I ran it by a couple other Star Wars insiders, as Noah calls them.
Could legit happen down the road, and you wouldn't be upset about it, but it doesn't necessarily fit or happen.
The problem is, when you get contacted by sources, is if you can't get proof that they genuinely do the job they say they do and would have access to information. And I'll give you an example of something I heard today which annoyed me, but anyway, that's our job to do that. So if a source contacts me and says, hey, I've got some really good Star Wars information for you, my first question is, okay, can you prove you would have access to this information? Can you show me anything? Oh, no, I can't. Then that's it. It's just dismissed from my point of view, because they could just be telling me any old lies. That's as bad as taking something from 4chan. And I think, a lot of the sites out there, I'm not going to mention, I will mention, We Got This Covered, for example, which looks to us as if they run fake shit all the time. My guess is probably what they do is people contact them anonymously, and they think they're a source, and they run that stuff, which I don't get, because, after a source proves not, to get something wrong, you should stop using them from that point. But, that's just the way I look at it. So therefore you might have heard those rumours, but we couldn't come out and say, hey, this is something we think is going to happen, because we don't know. At this point, it's just speculation. Could an adult Omega show up later on? Yeah, I suppose it's possible. But at this point, you really are in fan speculation, territory. Unless they can say to you, well, look, here's my ID, it shows you where I work. And you go, okay, we'll keep that information private. That won't go anywhere. But you've proved to us where you work. You could have access to that information. That's the point where I would run with something. And I'll give you the example I was talking about this, right? And this is We Got This Covered, but I saw this coming up on a feed, so not that I'm checking that website, and it was something to do with Lord of the Rings, and they'd said there's an animated show coming from sort of New Line, right? Mm-hmm. There's also an animated show coming from Amazon as well. And what they'd said on it, now this came from the same source that actually confirmed to us that Hayden Christensen was coming back for Obi-Wan a year ago. And you look at the dates, and it's after we actually broke that story. And two, why would someone, who is a Lucasfilm insider, also have insider information for Amazon's Lord of the Rings? That doesn't make sense. People don't, work for, all these different companies. You're talking about jumping from a live action to Lucasfilm to an animated Amazon. It just doesn't make sense to me. You normally wouldn't find that. So, when we say we have sources inside Lucasfilm, that's because we know and we've had proof that these people do have access to that information inside Lucasfilm. They don't know shit about Marvel Studios or really what else is going on at Disney, because they've got a job that they do, and that's the information that we get access to. Don't get me wrong, I'd love for us to have a Marvel source, but right now we don't really have one. I think we've had one thing recently that we got from someone who we do trust, and that's it. So, you can only run with the people that you're confident enough, because if your hit rate crashes, then you're basically, we got this covered from that point on. Yep. So
your name is
that's all I would say. If we prove wrong in this, we'll hold up our hands, but I just don't see this one happen.
No,
at all. I don't.
Nope. No, it's all good though. Like we said, it sucks that getting something wrong can completely derail an outlet, depending on what it is they got wrong or how.
Which is silly as well.
It is. It is silly.
People do get things wrong, because information
Well,
does change.
And that's the thing, is things change. Look at how many Marvel projects that Feige himself announced that were later canceled or changed dramatically.
Well, I mean, even look at our own example. I mean, we were the first to announce that Gina Carano was getting a show. Then they announced Rangers. It's got no connection to it at all. Then we hear she's sacked. And, everybody puts that together and thinks that, we know now that's the show that she was supposed to be starring in.
Right.
But if we hadn't, if it was just she'd get sacked, and we didn't get that additional information, it would have just looked like we'd got that one wrong. But that's just because, as you said, Kel, things changes.
Things change. What are you guys going to can Feige, make sure he loses his ability to announce shows because Inhumans movie didn't happen. Oh man.
Yeah, there's quite a few things Marvel have officially announced and moved away from. Yeah, it does happen.
So we're all in basic agreement. Like Inquisitors, they're cool. Like they've had their time in the light. We might enjoy seeing something in Kenobi, but again, we're kind of ready to go somewhere else now, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, if you would put it this way, if you're going to bring Darth Vader back, you don't call it Star Wars Inquisitors. You call it Darth Vader, and you focus on Darth Vader, and Inquisitors would just be ancillary characters that do his bidding for him, because that's the attraction. Is
and
Darth
they've been
Vader.
used in the comics quite a bit.
Correct.
So there's really no point. And then again, people like, yes, Disney's compartmentalizing a lot of things, which isn't unheard of and is very, very smart business. But that still hasn't put Filoni 1,000% in charge of all the Disney Plus stuff. His name is still not on everything coming from Star Wars on Disney Plus. He's still not. He's looked at stuff with Obi-Wan. We know that. And
but he's not particularly involved in Andor.
And he's not particularly involved in that or the Acolyte. And like I said, we can be outraged in like our next segment. I'm going to probably be really outraged. But some of this stuff all goes back to what we talked about a few weeks ago, where some outlets are literally just selling people's, I hate to use the phrase, but certain people's dreams, and they're selling it for clicks, and to me, not accusing hashtag of doing that in this case. I'm just saying that that particular thing does happen. So when you get a source that might be legit, but it might be water cooler talk that they heard, and that gets spun out as not water cooler talk, but instead legit, like, hey, producers are talking, or I saw the budget sheet and this was on the, that's different. Water cooler, we have water cooler talk in our Slack all the time. Like, I can see how some places, I'm always trying to give some people the benefit of the doubt that someone legit told them something, but like Cam said, who told you, and can you trust who told you? And a lot of the times, I don't know if people look that far. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've gotten our things wrong before and stuff, and I'm not attacking hashtag show for anything, because like you said, they've had a long running history. It's just running the report, running the story against our sources, it doesn't match up. So. That's just our
that's
and like I said, if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow on it. I'll apologize. I'll do a formal.
We'll even do a shout out and
100%
all that. I mean, fuck, it's not like
there's Cam said, there's some outlets on YouTube and there's some outlets online that it's just clickbait story after clickbait story with in my eyes, they have no sources. They're just making stuff up. And, they make a business out of it, which is fine. That's their MO. But, I think this is different, 100% different. It's because, this outlet, hashtag show, they have running number of stories, and a lot of the Marvel stuff, they've been hitting on, pretty recently. So this is their first Star Wars one. So that's why it was kind of different.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
Time.
Time will tell. Time has this great thing of either making us all look brilliant, like it does usually for me, or making us all look like fools, like it usually does for Cam. But anyways, let's take a real quick word from our sponsors over at Grow Generation.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation offers the best deals and discounts on the best grow products on the market. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Yeah, that's actually a little snippet from Manny and I's Throwdown Thursdays fight song, which we actually had on Wednesday, talking about Batman not being able to get his licks in on a cartoon. I mean, Batman, he's a good fighter. He knows how to get licks in. He's good at it, and he's good with his hands, and his target acquisition skills are really good, and he's got perfect blinders on with that mask, so when he's looking to get a good lick in, that he could. That has been one of the funnest stories we've had the pleasure of covering over on the Daily Cog, the Cup of Genre, which you guys can find on LRM's Genreverse podcast network, wherever you get podcasts, and also on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe and follow. All right, so Jesus Christ, I love the EU. I do. Everyone knows that. It's been something I've been singing about. Hey, why does Disney not sell more EU books? Why don't they let that last trilogy that was written and almost completed, sort of the Jedi, release that, and then all of a sudden, back in April, we're getting some EU books re-released. What's ridiculous is Del Rey and whoever was tweeting on April 2nd didn't know what the fuck a trade paperback meant. That was embarrassing. Like, whatever. But we got this announcement, and we see Heir to the Empire, Path of Destruction, and Shatterpoint. They're in a bigger format and new artwork. Okay, this really, really cheap. You've already got Sam Jackson's likeness rights. Fuck, that's probably from some photo shoot. And then Jeff Manning, I'm sure he's a fine artist, but probably just photoshopped some publicity photo. I mean, that's what I would do to save time and effort and money. But the point is that the old artists aren't going to get money, and depending on contracts, we don't know which artists are not artists, but writers are going to get how much money out of these reprints. Okay, there's been a lot of discussion about the guy that wrote Splinter of the Mind's Eye and the Star Wars novelization, I think it was, and some other authors, and there's been a union type thing. There's been a lot going on, and here's the deal with it. It's not that uncommon in publishing, especially when companies own a whole bunch of titles, for them to all of a sudden decide to reprint things, and depending on contracts, sometimes it works out for authors and sometimes it doesn't. Well, that brings us to Rogue Squadron. We're getting a second wave of EU books. It was quietly put on Amazon itself, actually. A Reddit leaker did, and you guys can see I've got the article up here. I'm not going to bring up Reddit's site themselves, but I will bring up Amazon's site. And they do indeed have it, Rogue Squadron and the other books, which are... what were they all? Last Command and Rule of Two. They're coming out September 7th in trade paperback with Rogue Squadron. So here's the problem, guys. I immediately reached out to Mike Stackpole, someone that I really love as a writer. His BattleTech stuff, his Star Wars stuff, his own IPs, all amazing, and he's a really cool guy. And you can hear this fun interview. God, it was almost 2 hours between two segments, and I asked him about it, and then this is what he said. All I asked was, "Hey, man, I saw this online. I wanted to verify whether or not it's real and get your comment." And he responded, "As it stands, no one has said anything to me from Del Rey. And while that might seem like a bad thing, it's not really a surprise. Authors are often the last to hear about a reprint of a title. It's kind of the way the business works. What will," and that was his emphasis, "be interesting is to see when, if I, Jedi," another book that he wrote involving the character Karan Horn from Rogue Squadron, excuse me, makes it into the rotation, as it always does well in polls about favorite books. Then again, I don't know what their criteria are for picking titles. I just realized I need an SIC right there. And then at the very end of his comment, he also said, "All that said, it's certainly an honor to have one of my books included, especially after 25 years of publication." All right, so here's what I got from all of that. One, it's brilliant business sense from Disney, depending on these contracts, to reprint these books. They've seen that their own new novels don't do as well. They just now reached in 20, let's see, Hollywood Reporter has the numbers. They just now recently got back to the 2005 numbers of EU books sold, which was 2 million. Mm-hmm. Okay. They had started to have a drop down from 2005 to about 2012. And then it actually started coming back up with the, was it the Fate of the Jedi or Legacy of the Force books? Is one of those last two series leading into the Sword of the Jedi. You actually started seeing the numbers climb up again. And then it's not until now that you get back to where you were kind of at the height of the EU. What really upsets me about all of this is the second time I've had to tell Michael A. Stackpole that I could think of, "Hey, dude, Disney's using Rogue Squadron. Did you know?" And like thinking I'm going to get this reaction of, "Yeah, I couldn't wait to tell someone." He didn't know about Rogue Squadron movie, and he didn't know this book was getting reprinted. And while it might be common when you've got an IP like Star Wars, a movie coming out with it, a book series that's beloved, it's not like just some random book that they just plucked from the middle of the thing. This is one of those EU books that even Cam's read, you know?
Yeah, and enjoyed as well. You know, I like the Rogue Squadron books.
I cannot help but be fucking furious. Look, Mike Stackpole, consummate professional. I think he can see that money's a deal. The line about I, Jedi, that book would fucking sell like crazy. And he would be able to start fucking doing autograph things again and a whole new slew of money for him. So I hope to God that he can do that with Rogue Squadron and get I, Jedi. But it is money, and it pisses me off because fans have been saying shit like this about the money issue with the EU books for years. But more than anything, man, I feel like an asshole for going to someone, I don't want to say a hero, but an idol, you know, and basically being like, "Hey, dude, people are fucking around with shit that you created, and they're not telling you." And it's not even like it's necessarily a bad thing. Why the fuck is it so hard to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, writer, that great story you did years ago, we're reprinting it. Congratulations. We hope that you're able to get some autograph spots at Books A Million or whatever." I don't know what bookstores are available these days anymore. What is so fucking hard about that, especially for something like Star Wars and something like Rogue Squadron video games, Rogue Squadron books, Rogue Squadron comic books, Rogue One movie, Rogue Squadron movie. This is not new. This is not just a Jedi, a lightsaber color. This isn't the word Sith. This is rogue fucking squadron. And we broke the news to the fucking guy that wrote it. So I'm happy that the book is going to come out. I hope Mike gets some money out of it, and congratulations, Mike, that it's going to get recognized again and hopefully introduced to a new group. But god damn it, fucking Disney, you guys got that movie. We know why you guys are releasing it. Start being better. You're making great business sense. Like, the capitalist pig in me loves it. But fuck, I'm a human too, and shit, don't be shitty humans. Whoever missed the boat on that one, it sucks. So yeah, that's my rant, guys. What do you think about Wave 2's books choices? We're gonna get our Thrawn trilogy. It seems the original Thrawn trilogy out of the Legends collection. A Darth Bane book, Acolyte, yada yada yada, and then Rogue Squadron. Mike, what do you think first, bud?
I mean, it's a good choice. Like, you've got the Rogue Squadron movie coming out soon, so re-releasing Rogue Squadron will get some of the fans who aren't really into the EU, or younger fans who didn't experience the EU during the 90s when there wasn't really anything else, Star Wars around, to kind of get back into that. The Thrawn, Timothy Zahn is amazing when he created Thrawn, and he's still doing it with, what is it, the Ascendancy trilogy?
Yeah, it's a prequel trilogy taking place in the Chiss Ascendancy. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and so that gives some of the younger audience as well, or people who haven't read the original, trilogy, Thrawn trilogy, get reacclimated with that. I think that's always a big. To your point, it's interesting because I've heard not just Stackpole but some other writers have gripes about how Disney's been handling the contracts that they had with Lucasfilm prior to Disney buying them out, and the royalties that they were owed, and how Disney has cut off some of the writers, not necessarily, I don't think out of spite, but just saying, we don't need you. So, but it's interesting in Stackpole's situation because, with creating Rogue Squadron, the movie, and how important the Rogue Squadron books are into the Star Wars universe. Why you wouldn't incorporate them, which, who knows, maybe he gets a phone call later on as production really starts to ramp up for the movie, then go through there. Because I do know with Timothy Zahn, when Star Wars Rebels brought Grand Admiral Thrawn in, Zahn was, of course, Filoni knows everything about Star Wars, but they still kind of threw some things so that Timothy Zahn would have like some, some input. I don't know necessarily input, but just some kind of guidance on what, he was thinking. And so
he created the guy,
right. He created,
so he he can get in his brain better than anyone.
Right.
So if you want to ask Thrawn a question, you have to ask Zahn.
Right. And so this is during the Disney era. So it's interesting to see how Disney's playing their hand with some writers versus other writers. And I know that they're, Stackpole, you have a good relationship with him, and he seems like he's, positive always about everything Star Wars, and doesn't have a gripe. But there are some writers out there that are really upset because they had a contract with Lucasfilm about getting royalties, and supposedly when Disney bought, Lucasfilm, those royalties ended, and that they, basically stopped paying out the royalties, and some have gone to court over it, and basically arguing their contract is for life, and it's sad, but it's interesting how they're playing each individual author differently.
And before Cam gives his take, I'll just say that when it comes to I remember that brief moment that they switched publishers at the very beginning. I'm wondering if that was a way of trying a loophole to shake loose some of the contracts. Like I said, the capitalist pig in me loves it. It's brilliant. If it's legal, go for it. Make
Disney
your money. But fuck, man.
That's kind of what
people,
the report we covered, when we kind of first started talking about all this, with Alan Dean Foster and everything like that. That's kind of what they were saying, that basically they had these people had a contract with the previous publisher, and then it's like Disney get the rights to everything, and it's like they don't seem to feel the need that they have to pay anything to the authors anymore after that, because, you know, their contracts were with the previous publishing house, and, you know, that's what they're fighting against. And that is a bit, you know, that's a bit dodgy. That's a bit dodgy. You know, there's just no need for them to penny pinch like that, I don't think. But it's whether, I think what the problem is they're protecting themselves going forward, so that when they want to steal little ideas that they like for people's books, that these people can't sort of come back and say, well, you can't take that because that was my idea. Because we've seen a little bit of that happen. Even George Lucas did that, you know, when he made the prequels, he did take some ideas that other people had come up with already, you know, Coruscant, for example. So, you know, that's my guess on it. We don't know the truth by it, but that's my guess on what's going on. But I don't know when we'll get to a kind of resolution on all that, but it does suck.
Yeah. What I would say is people, if you can, go out and pick up the old Del Rey copy of Rogue Squadron. As far as I know, those royalties should still be mostly going the way that they were. And if you ever get a chance to purchase something outside of Star Wars from Mike Stackpole, if you liked Rogue Squadron, check out the BattleTech series. BattleTech's a very, very cool world to visit. And there's a lot of different jumping on points. There's 1,000 YouTube videos and websites that'll give you reading orders and stuff like that. But I can tell you that you could pick up Stackpole's first trilogy of BattleTech books and just read those right out of the box and be fine. Like, it's pretty cool. And then he's got a lot of unique individual properties as well. Give them all a check out. Just Google his bibliography, pick something and read it. And then when it comes to writers, just in general, you guys, any chance you get to when it doesn't hurt you financially, of course, or to buy a gift, buy that special edition, because those are usually little things that they've worked in with their publishers or their contractors or what their contracts, and they get a little bit more money out of certain things like that. So, you know, when you can, support your writers, because in today's global commerce and economy, you never know when contracts and stuff are going to be bought up, right, and an income stream is gone. So yeah, Feige, Marvel, Star Wars, they all collide in our next segment, where we're going to talk about Feige's Star Wars movie. When is this coming? Is it ever going to actually come? I don't know. So Cam, again, as our primary writer, got to write about this. The writer for the show, Michael Waldron, said it's very early days on in regards to the Star Wars movie. That's probably the thing I can say least about, unfortunately. The thing Kevin Feige shares in common with Dan Harmon and Sam Raimi is an absolute collaborative spirit and a remarkable lack of ego. Given what he's accomplished, Kevin is a great listener. He wants to hear your ideas, take in how you might do something, and help you make it better. Beyond all that, he's just a cool guy. I think the success of the MCU is all the amazing science fiction and concepts and all that stuff. Ultimately, the success is built upon the characters, their humanity, their very relatable conflicts, friendships, and family that is in the MCU. And I think Star Wars, at its best, is a story about family. Han, Luke, and Leia were a family. You love seeing them together. And you hated it when they were split apart. It's great characters. That's nothing new. I'm not going to blow anybody's mind with that headline, but that's my biggest takeaway. Cam, you wrote the story. To give us your take on his quote, man.
I mean, there really isn't much to say other than that it was kind of cool to get, you know, something about Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie out there. You know, we know he's writing it, and that's just cool to know. He talks about sort of characters and how characters are important, and you know, the family, not necessarily a strict as we'd call it a family, but that, you know, a family of characters, if you like. And you know, I guess that's kind of what we all want anyway, isn't it? I mean, that was one of the big issues I had with the sequel trilogy, was I didn't care enough about too many of the lead characters. By the end, I didn't feel like they were this group that I cared about.
They kept pairing them
and if
off
you can
oddly.
get that, yeah, if you can get that somehow back, then, you know, that's a good Star Wars film. And you know, because any film, you know, you want to really enjoy the characters, whether it's set in the Old West or it's set in, you know, the Star Wars universe, it doesn't matter. You know, the idea should always be story first, a good story with good characters that have good arcs in it. So you just hope that's what Kevin Feige sees as well, and that's why he's picked Michael Waldron, because he sees what he's working on and thinks, yeah, you understand that also. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm enjoying what I see of Loki so far, which he was head writer on. So
very cool, Mike. What do you think? Before that, do you think that was a dig at the sequel trilogy where he said people were and you hated it when they were split apart? That quote, because they were split in Empire at the end of Empire, but right. I can't help but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think he did it with the Marvel universe when he split, you know, between Captain America and Iron Man and stuff. So it was after Civil War. So I mean, I don't know if it's a dig on it and stuff, but no. Let's face it. Feige's a great storyteller. So he's nailed, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe as best as anyone could. So I'm excited what he's going to do with one movie, because that's the key, right? Mm-hmm. He's had this, you know, this ultimate playground with Marvel films and being able to tell a story over 10 years and you know, and continue on that story. What is he going to do with one Star Wars film? And that's basically, you know, it, and that's where it's good. That's where, to me, like, that's where I'm really intrigued by. And so, you know, putting, you know, good writers, good people around him he's always been great at that. He's been really amazing at picking the right directors, right writers, producers, whatever, you know, cast for his, you know, his movies. And so, is this going to be like a, you know, it almost in my mind is like Christopher Nolan movies. Like, it almost feels like Nolan does all these movies and they somehow, like, in my mind, they connect, but they're really just one-offs, you know, like there's no sequel to them. And so, like, that's where I think Feige's going with this, is that just basically you're going to see this movie and you're going to be so intrigued by it. You're going to see it multiple times, and it's going to be these theories and all these different things coming out from it. So, like, to me, that's what intrigues me about this, is that I've seen what he can do in the cinematic world, you know, having multiple movies. Now I want to see what you can do with one film, which, I mean, I have all the confidence in the world, but putting all that in, you know, in one tight little film, you know, roughly give or take 2 hours, that's going to be the true amazement, and see how well Feige does with this, you know, this movie.
I can say, and I think you guys would agree, that Iron Man all by itself did a great job, like Star Wars, the original, of saying, hey, this can stand on its own, but not just this end credit scene, but some of the other stuff, you know, Rhodey, next time, baby. Little things like that said, if we do well, we can continue and give you guys some more. And my zipper stuck, and I'm tired of getting my
I think, like, Black Panther is another example like that. Black Panther by itself is a great movie. You don't need to know that it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's a bunch of them that are individually amazing. Thor Ragnarok by itself, you know,
but
amazing.
I do wonder, because of how great he is, and that thing about characters, relationships, I'm wondering if Feige's film, even though it comes after Taika's, as far as we know,
right?
I'm wondering if his, or maybe Taika's even, will be an anchor point of a new era or area.
I think that's what Acolyte is going for. I think Acolyte's going to be the anchor.
But that's set in between prequel and High Republic, like towards the tail end of High.
But we don't. We have the High Republic comic books and stories.
It's an era we don't really have.
We don't have a lot of film media or film or television. I think Acolyte's going to be that.
So do you think these movies might be set past or future?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I know that I think it's been confirmed. I'm not sure, but Rian Johnson's trilogy is after the sequel trilogy. It's far off in the distant future.
I've always said pick one direction and go 1,000 years, so that way Yoda's not alive,
right?
And we're far enough removed from Luke that he could be a legend. We might see a great grand nephew, niece, whatever the fuck, but 1,000 years either way gives you enough space that you don't even have to be concerned with anything from the OT, except for one thing, and it's the one thing I hated about Disney's sequel trilogy, and that was the lack of fucking aliens that we had seen before, and fucking major planet systems that you still haven't fucking visited in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think that's. I might be talking out of my ass here, but I thought for one of Rian Johnson's interviews, or either early on when he was confirmed to do, when they right after Last Jedi, or that said it was doing a sequel trilogy, that he was going way out in the future.
I think I remember hearing that too.
Yeah.
So.
But I think Acolyte is the anchor to go backwards. I think that's the one that we're going to see almost in reverse. So we have Endgame, that we worked all the way to Endgame. You could theoretically go Acolyte and work backwards from there. And I think the High Republic books and, comic books kind of give the younger audience and some of the, newer Star Wars fans kind of like how we have with the EU with, Rogue Squadron and stuff like, we know all these characters that's there, except for the damn Rock. We don't need the Rock in any of those movies and stuff. But I could see the Acolyte kind of going in that direction and working maybe backwards, which would be really interesting.
I could see that happening. I'm curious about the Acolyte, and like we said, we can garner or gleam or whatever synonym for take from some of the information in these EU waves that have been announced and released. We know that Thrawn's name was dropped in Mando's season 2, and that we expect his character to be important for Ahsoka's story. And the alleged, we say alleged because plans can always change, even when they're announced by Disney themselves. But Kathleen Kennedy said, there's going to be a big culmination event with what people call the Mandoverse. And we know that shit, I lost my goddamn train of thought. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it happens sometimes. Anyways, the thing is that there it is. The Darth Bane stuff being talked about. The Darth Bane stuff books being released. And then you look at Rogue Squadron movie, and we look at Luke's hand and the lightsaber connections in the comics and the cloning stuff, Cloned Emperor for the sequel trilogy. And it's not that hard to really see where a Plagueis and Bane story can come out of the High Republic into the Acolyte and leading up to Palpatine and whatnot. Is that kind of what you think? That will be that anchor starting point, but then we go further back and rewrite their history, maybe including that coder game and stuff.
Ooh, if you include Knights of the Old Republic in any type of film, television show, that there's going to be a cult following of fans to that.
So maybe that's how they make sure the Acolyte's a success is use it as an anchor point. What do you think, Cam? What would you like to see it as, a one-off thing, or see it as an anchor point to go and explore the past, High Republic and older?
I don't know, because we've never really had just on its own Star Wars movie before, so it's hard to say what that would look like. You could argue Rogue One and Solo, but they were so connected. Rogue One's basically like a prequel to A New Hope, and Han's connected to everything that happens in the old trilogy as well. So, so it would be, interesting to see something just completely stand alone. But what will always happen is if that is something in a little era on its own, or whether it's connected and it's people like it and it's successful, fans will want to see more of it as well. So even if it starts off as let's just make one good film, it could evolve into something else afterwards, couldn't it? Potentially. Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Definitely. Well, guys, it's been a great week. Interesting stuff. Like we said over at the hashtag show, hey, if they even get some half right and it shows up like as an anime segment in Visions or something, which I think would be cool. I like the idea of Star Wars and like Animatrix. I want a Star Wars Animatrix. I really, really do. That, like Tales of the Bounty Hunter and Tales from Jabba's Palace, that type of thing is something I've thought Disney Plus is just made for. Like, where is our Star Wars anthology series? So, I would love to see the hashtag show maybe get something half right with that. That would be kind of cool. That being said, guys, yeah, we're done. Check out our social media. It's on the bottom, and we're going to say it again before we all leave. But also, check out lrmonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Go to the YouTube channel if you're not on there already, and hit that red subscribe button and hit the bell so you know when the A-list celebrity interviews, like, who do we had? Luke Wilson. We had, was it Martin Sheen or, yeah, Martin Sheen. We've had, Jim Gaffigan, and I don't know if I can say his name. I know Manny spoke to him, and he's doing a special voice. Anyways, it's a pretty big name from a time travel movie you guys might know. So, anyways, look out for that. Reasons to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and for all these great podcasts like Animeversal Reviews, which is doing its midnight run on Saturday, getting a little spicy. Not the H word, not yet, but check that out. The Daily Cog, the Cup of Genre, every Monday through Friday. Breaking Geek Radio on Fridays, and of course, Marvel Multiverse Mondays, not for very much longer. Loki Thursdays, which came out yesterday and was a lot of fun with episode 2. Me and Nick talking about that. Shocky, what do you got going on with our beloved website, man?
Trying to, just establish the Genreverse podcast network. We're kind of doing a little couple tweaks to the site so that you guys can get access to the shows a lot faster. And then besides that, just, trying to keep up with all the news that's going on around the Star Wars, universe here. So, just, keep following us at LRM_exclusive on Twitter, and hopefully we got some more information coming out soon.
There you go. Cam, anything else you want to say, and where people can find you out online?
Yeah, you can find me at LRM _Cam online on Twitter. You can get in touch with me by email. Catch me, obviously, writing stories during the week on the site as well. So, yeah, hit me up.
There you go. And I'm at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at the one Kyle Malone on Instagram. I'll see you guys on the Midnight Run, Animeversal Reviews. Yeah, come get spicy with me and Christine. We're going to be talking a little bit about things like Domestic Girlfriend, Rent-A-Girlfriend, Eromanga Sensei, Chobits. Yeah, it'll be fun. Lots of lace. It's cool. Come join us. We'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.